Guys, welcome here. So we're doing something a little different today. We got a live show instead of an episode. We're going to be talking about the mullet run. We're here with Mike from 1Rod1ReelFishing. He's coming down next week. We're going to do some exciting fishing with him. It's going to be hardcore. We're going to be doing nonstop fishing, guys. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Hurricane Matthew for those that are in Florida and along the East Coast. So first things first, let's talk about this mullet run. Mike, you've seen some of the footage we put up. It's been pretty good, man. We've had yesterday, I filmed a school, as I was mentioning to you. It was 2 football fields wide and about 5 football fields long. And I saw snook, I saw sharks, I saw tarpon, I saw 30, 40, 50-pound jacks. It was nonstop, bro. We got some incredible footage. We put up a little clip of it on Instagram today. And I'm going to tell you what, man, I've been filming nonstop. I can't wait to fish, dude. Like me and you, we're going to be fishing machines down there. We're going to hit it so hard. I mean, and you haven't caught a tarpon yet. We need to get you on a tarpon.
Yeah, dude, last year when I came down for the mullet run, it was literally the most insane fishing I've ever experienced in my entire life, hands down. Fish jumping everywhere. Every cast, we were getting a jack or a bluefish. And, you know, I didn't really get a chance to catch some of those giant monster fish species like the tarpon, ladyfish, or whatever else is swimming around there. Maybe a blacktip I could hook into. One maybe on. Are they hitting topwater lures this time of year, or not really?
They will. They will. So the way to get blacktips, and guys, we're going to be talking a lot of tips right now. But the way to get blacktips to bite during this is actually, Mike, I'm glad you brought this up right now. So guys, blacktips, they feed. They're, in my opinion, I think they're the best feeders in the whole mullet pod. They will dance circles around tarpon, and the way they like to feed. They use the tarpon and the wave washes. They use, once something stirs up the mullet, so like for example, like if you get a swell or a wave and it crashes, creates that white wash. That's when you'll see the blacktip shoot in there because the mullet can't see them coming. They shoot in and they grab it. When you have that wave wash, that's a great time to throw your popper and work it in that wash because they'll feel it with their lateral lines and they'll attack it. But just like open, clear water, very tough. They're probably not going to hit it unless you're in low light conditions at night or early in the morning. But also, when you see tarpon doing their thing, like I call it snowplowing, they're on their side and they're moving through the school and then they arch their head and they scare the mullet. When they scare the mullet like that, the blacktips will shoot in there and they'll try to grab a mullet that are being frightened by the tarpon. That's another great opportunity when you can throw your popper at that scared mullet right there and see if you can get a shark to hit.
Awesome, awesome. I remember last time at one point we were fishing at night and we saw like maybe 10 tarpon busting everywhere. And we tried fishing for them for like 2 hours. We couldn't hook any of them. It was just really, really hard. What are some keys that we could do this time to maybe give us a little more success in hooking into some of these big tarpon?
Yeah, dude, so the way we're going to fish for tarpon, Mike, we're going to be using cut bait and live bait. My favorite way to catch tarpon actually is to fish away from the school. I don't like really fishing inside of the school. They're too preoccupied with all those mullet, you know. So, and if you're fishing inside the school and you're throwing a live mullet, it's hard for the tarpon to find it. There's just so much bait around. The other thing is, you know, if you start using cut bait or, you know, something like that on the bottom or you got on the float, the other thing is you're probably going to get sharks or jacks or bluefish. So I noticed that's another thing. When you fish inside those big schools, there tends to be a lot of blacktips and there tend to be a lot of bluefish. And the bluefish, when the bluefish get real thick, it gets very, very hard to catch tarpon because they usually get to the bait before the tarpon do. So, but the tarpon, and you're going to see this in our drone video, guys. We're going to make a tip video, but tarpon are very lazy fish, very lazy. So they'll come in the school, they'll do their thing, and they'll leave. And on our drone footage, we've noticed lots of tarpon are sometimes several hundred yards away from the school. They're just sitting out there relaxing. They're doing their thing. And that's when they're in that state, that's when they'll pick a bait up off the bottom. You know, so a lot of times when I fish for the tarpon, Mike, I like to make sure I can single my mullet out. So for example, you'll see in our drone video, the tarpon are creating these pockets, you know, so like they're moving through the school. You want to look for those green, like, well, if it's green because it's you know, the bottom of the sand, but you want to look for that clear opening. That's where you want to throw a live mullet. You want to single your mullet out so the tarpon can find it. If you just throw it randomly inside of a big pot of mullet, chances are they're never going to find it. So the other thing is when we're on a boat, what I like to do is I like to actually slow troll my mullet along the school. I'd stay about 50 feet away from the school, and I like to slow troll along that school because those tarpon are going back and forth. There's a wall of mullet on the edge of the school. We call it, like, it could be like called like the highway of mullet. And the tarpon and the blacktips cruise that wall and they cut in. So that's where on that wall of mullet on the outside of the school, you can slow troll your mullet and you can get, better bites. Like in our kayak episode with Deep Blue Kayak Fishing, that's exactly what we're doing. We're fishing on the edge of school and we all three of us got hit. Boom, boom, boom. The tarpon were biting. When the tarpon are feeding, you remember that one day last year, it was just, those tarpon were chewing for 30 minutes straight. It was chaos.
Yeah.
It was nuts. The problem is we had lures. If we had, I even tried using a live bait and the bluefish kept getting it. So like in that situation, when there's a lot of bluefish around, tarpon will eat bluefish. And if you put a live bluefish out, normally other bluefish won't eat it unless he's really bleeding. So that's another way to catch tarpon if there's too many other like smaller fish around, is use them for bait. So for example, and let's just say the tarpon aren't biting good, and you got silver mullet, and you got other big mullet. What I like to do also is use a live ladyfish. That is one of the best tarpon baits, and it stands out among the mullet. You want to use baits that stand out amongst all that bait, and that's, like I said, either single your bait out outside the school or inside the pockets, or you use something completely differently than mullet, and that's how they'll find it.
Gotcha. You said ladyfish. I heard, is there a nickname for that, like poor man's tarpon? Do people call them that?
Dude, I love ladyfish, man. They jump. They fight just like a tarpon. They don't get really big, but dude, yeah, they'll hit top water. When you hook them, they jump like crazy. They're a lot of fun.
I've never caught one of those either. Is there a good chance I might be able to hook one of those up this trip?
Hopefully, man. Dude, they're definitely around. Ladyfish are weird. Sometimes they're around, sometimes they're not. I mean, it depends where you are in Florida. But one thing I know for sure, after this hurricane, and by the way, guys, this hurricane, we're going to start talking about this hurricane soon, but this hurricane is going to stir up that water a lot. And I got a feeling that we're going to see a lot of ladyfish, a lot of bluefish, and a lot of jacks. One thing, guys, I'm going to talk about this hurricane for a sec. This hurricane, which, by the way, I hope everyone's preparing for that because it looks like it's going to be a bad one. It's going to create a huge swell, huge waves, and right now there's been a lot of mullet concentrated around Palm Beach County and Martin County. There hasn't been a lot up in Brevard or even further north or south. So we don't really have, the migration has started, but it really hasn't really gotten into full swing yet because we haven't really had northeast winds. We need cold fronts to get those mullet to move down the coast. This storm is going to bring all those mullet from up north to Georgia, Carolinas. It's going to bring them all down south. And it's going to be, Mike, I got a feeling, like we were talking about earlier, it might be epic. We might see mullet from like as far as I can see both ways.
Hey, fingers crossed. That would be, as insane as last year was fishing the mullet run. If that happens, it might even be more epic, which I was ready to scream my head off last time. I can't wait to see what kind of reactions I might get if the fishing gets.
Dude, I just want to get you up to a big tarpon. I think you'll start screaming your head off. I don't even know. Like you're gonna have to buy a new microphone because you're gonna break it with how much screaming you're gonna do, bro. It's gonna be but it's another thing. Actually talking about what we did last time, we used a lot of topwater lures, and it was good because there was a lot of bluefish and jacks. This time we're gonna focus more on using bait. You're coming down. Last time you came at the end of October, which is kind of the end of the mullet run. This time you're coming down in the beginning, so this is when we have better shots catching blacktip sharks, tarpon, big jacks, the bigger predators. So that's what we're going to focus a lot more on, and we're going to fish many different ways, dude. Like I said, we're going to fish live bait, we're going to fish dead bait, we're going to try we're going to try to do a bunch of different things to see if we can get those big tarpon to bite. That's my main mission is for you to catch 100+ pound tarpon. That's what we need.
I'd be happy with any size tarpon because those fish I heard are very hard to catch.
Yeah, they're very finicky. Once you hook, if you can get a good hook set in them, they're not going to come off. But getting a good hook set and getting a bite, that's what makes them a challenge. That's why people love fishing them so much. They're not easy to catch like jacks or bluefish or sharks. They're a little more finicky. But we're going to make it happen, dude. Don't worry. Another thing cool, Mike, I noticed this with my drone footage. One way to get the tarpon to bite, guys, is to look for dirty water. The cleaner the water, the harder it is. Or the more unlikely it is for those tarpon to bite. They see your leader. They're just a little bit wary. You find that dirtier water. Now, you can find dirtier water, obviously, by, the further north you go from Miami, you're going to find the water usually is going to get dirtier. Another thing is look for where the tarpon and the mullet are feeding. Sometimes if there's like a sandbar or something like that, it will stir up the water, make it really dirty. You know, I noticed in some of my drone footage, we'd see green water, then you'd see brown water. And in that brown water, that's where we saw most of the tarpon jumping. That's where we saw most of the tarpon busting. So that's where they were feeding. They were using that dirtier water to take advantage of their lateral lines and attack the prey. So that's another thing we'll do, Mike, is we're going to look for that stirred up water. We're going to look for a little bit more dirty water so we can have more of that opportunity to hook the tarpon. Now, if you're fishing dead mullet on the bottom, it doesn't really matter. You know, I mean, if those tarpon are hungry and they swim by, they're gonna stir it up. I refer to tarpon a lot of times, they're like garbage cans. They'll eat anything. A lot of times when we were kayaking out bonitas for sharks, we'd have tarpon eat whole bonitas. They don't, with double number 19 wire, you know, with 1,000-pound mono, they don't care. You know, if they're hungry, they'll eat. I mean, you can see that if you've ever been to Key West, and you know, when they throw the carcasses in the water, those tarpon will eat anything that moves, man. So, Mike, let's talk about Hurricane Matthew right now.
All right.
Right. Let's. When I saw that this storm was shifting toward us, I'm not gonna lie, bro. My heart sank a little bit because, like, hurricanes, guys, are not good. I hope everyone here that lives in Florida or lives along the coast where it's going to affect them, go get water. Dude, I literally just before this thing, I had to go wait in line for 20 minutes to get gas, bro. And like, it looked like there was fights going to break out. It was bad, bro. Like, gas stations are already running out of gas.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, people are panicking.
When is it supposed to start? This weekend or?
Thursday. We're probably going to start seeing effects on Wednesday afternoon.
Wow.
So, like, tomorrow, I'm not going to be doing any work. I'm going to be focusing on getting my everything, you know, properly closed up and family taken care of. Dude, there's like, last night, Walmart ran out of water down here. It was nuts, bro.
Man.
Yeah, bro. People are freaking out. So I advise anyone that lives in Florida, go tonight, get your supplies if you haven't got them, get some batteries, flashlights, get whatever you can, because, you know, I mean, they don't really know where the storm's headed yet. Right now, as of right now, it's showing that we're not going to have, it's not going to be too bad, maybe 100-mile-an-hour winds, which sounds horrible, but it's not, that's a category 1 kind of deal. It's not too bad, but if we get the eye of the storm, it could be a 3 or a 4. It could be up to 130, 140-mile-an-hour winds. So we do not want that. And Mike, what's interesting, if the storm is real bad, when you come down, we could be fishing on an apocalyptic beach, bro. I mean, like, there could be just debris everywhere. Who knows, man? Boats, couches. Who knows, bro? It'd be cool for the video, right? I mean, get some good film props there.
That sounds pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, you know what the crazy thing is actually is some of the beaches we're gonna fish, we may not even be able to get access to them because they're on islands, and a lot of times the sheriff will shut down an entire island so they prevent looting and stuff like that. Like, people that don't own property on the island, they don't want them on there. So I'm hoping that the hurricane isn't that bad so we don't have that much damage, because then we can, you know, we'll still be able to move around and do a lot of fishing. One thing that's really cool, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, our viewers, if you guys like catching snappers, tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, please don't go fishing in the hurricane if it hits us. That's dumb. But just before and after the hurricane, the mud and snappers like to come in very close. You'll find them in your inlets and around your piers, anywhere with rocks. I remember, dude, when Isaac went by, I was up at Sebastian. Dude, we were slaying 10-pound mud and snappers from the jetty, dude. We were just hammering them, bro. Like, all up and down the coast of Florida, there was just mud and snappers, huge mud and snappers being caught in every inlet and around every pier.
10 pounders?
Dude, mud and snappers usually are deeper water. You know, they don't. I mean, obviously, if you're in the Bahamas, you'll see them in the shallows. But most of the time in Florida, you're going to find mud and snappers in, you know, 40, 50, 60 plus feet of water. So, and other things coming too. Wahoo, kingfish, a lot of pelagic fish will move into the shallows during the hurricane. So, like I said, the perfect storm in terms of fishing would be awesome is if these big pelagic predators moved in, found the schools of mullet, and stayed with those schools of mullet. How cool would that be if we could throw poppers or something, hook wahoo, dude?
That would be that would be so many different species we'd catch from the bank. That would be for some epic content.
It would it'd be we
gotta hope there's not too much damage, though. Hope that everyone stays safe, because hurricanes are no joke. No, we don't want anyone to take this lightly, man. I mean, I've been watching it every 3 hours, you know, and they're gonna update it I think they're gonna update it twice in the next
12 hours. So gotta pay attention. The good thing is you're not flying down during the hurricane though.
I'll be coming down on Monday. I think early Monday. I'll be arriving around 11 a.m. I think.
Yeah, dude. And you're gonna be here till what, Friday?
Thursday night, Thursday evening.
Thursday. So we're gonna fish. Oh, by the way, we haven't talked about our bass conquest yet. So we're gonna fish Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all Thursday morning and early afternoon. Guys, remember, Mike still hasn't caught his double-digit bass yet. So we're gonna take one of these days, and we're gonna devote some serious time to try to get Mike a big monster bass. That's the goal. What do you think, Mike? You feeling optimistic?
Hey, it's Florida. You know, it's getting a little bit later. It's not the summer when it's really tough to catch bass, and you've got a pretty good spot out here. So we're gonna check it out. Have you fished it yet? Or you haven't fished it yet?
I haven't fished that exact lake yet. I think, but I've heard some good things, and I've looked at the lake. It's big, so I got a good feeling that we have a good shot of pulling a big fish. But you know what I was thinking? I think we need to try some big swim baits, bro. You know, or maybe get some giant frogs, like the biggest frogs we can buy, or like one of those duck things or something like that, dude. Something big.
Duck thing, yeah, that'd be really interesting to use.
What do you think?
I like this. The swim bait idea would be interesting. Maybe like a big 16-inch plastic worm. Try a big worm challenge.
What do you think the weeds are going to be doing this time of the year? Do you think they're going to be dying out? I haven't been in these places yet recently. I know in summertime the weeds get out of control.
Yeah, Florida's pretty warm, so I'm thinking they're not really going to be dying quite yet. What's the temperatures around you? I don't know. I'm not in Florida right now.
It's still hot, man.
No weed. Yeah, the weeds are going to be pretty thick then. So we might need a big frog. Big frogs. I don't know about the lake, what the vegetation's like there, but between you and I, I'm sure we'll figure it out and catch some good fish.
All right, man. Well, let me ask you a question, Mike. Let's ask our fans a question. You guys have some questions. We're going to answer questions for the next 10 minutes here. So we've talked about the mullet. Have I missed anything about the mullet run?
No, I saw a question. They were wondering, how do you fish for the mutton snappers?
Oh, you know what, dude? Hold on. Just before you brought up that, guys, I forgot to mention one really important thing. So when I fish from the beach during the mullet run, I'm going to tell you what. I used to always bring a cast net, always, okay? Now I never bring a cast net. I think it's a big waste of time. I think the most efficient way to fish the mullet run from the beach is to have a live bait rod and a snagging rod, okay? So you're lightweight, no bucket, no net, none of that nonsense. You snag a mullet, you rig them up, you throw them out. If he dies, you snag another mullet. There's so many mullet out there, you can keep snagging them, and that's the most efficient way to, you know, obviously sometimes when you snag the mullet, you might injure them to the point where they don't swim well, but that's the most lightweight and efficient way to fish the mullet run. Now, obviously, if you're on the boat, there's no need to do that because you probably have a live well, and you can probably keep mullet alive in there. If you're on a boat, though, I wouldn't recommend putting too many mullet in the live well because there is an abundance. I'd put a good. It's better to have a few healthy baits than a lot of, you know, really crappy baits. So it's better to have like a good half dozen in your live well, even if it's big, you know, because they're gonna be really lively. That's what the tarpon are looking for. They want that lively mullet. They definitely don't want to attack some sluggish mullet that's half dead. Now the mud and snappers, you guys asked about that. The best way to fish for them is a finger mullet or a pilchard on the bottom. Use a 2 to 3 ounce egg sinker, about, you know, I don't know, like 2-3 feet of 30, 40, 50 pound fluorocarbon, and use a Carolina rig style with circle hook, and just, you know, let them go out there and let them just sit. The muddins will find it. Look for little holes, deep pockets, or anywhere where there's rocks. That's where you want your finger mullet or your pilchard to sit. And like I said, the inlets and the piers and the jetties are usually really great spots to find big mud and snappers after a hurricane.
And speaking about finding fish, I know you're an expert on Goliath grouper. This question's coming up. How do you locate this Goliath grouper?
All right, guys. So the secret to finding Goliath groupers, I'm not going to give away all the secrets because, you know, there's only a few spots to find them. But the best way to find them is to talk to divers. Divers know the bottom of the ocean better than anyone. That's how I found my spots. You know, I talked to divers. I found the best spots. But I'm going to tell you one thing. To be a responsible Goliath grouper angler, I highly, 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 highly recommend never fishing for Goliath groupers in any depth greater than 60 feet. If it's deeper than 60 feet, you run the risk of them blowing up and you have to vent them. You don't want that. You don't want the fish getting all messed up. So be responsible. Fish for them under 60 feet of water. Go to your dive shops. And to be honest, guys, I would not recommend you telling them, hey, I want to catch a Goliath grouper. Where can I go? Because the dive shops most of the time don't like fishermen. So pretend that you're a diver. Hey, I'm looking to find some Goliath groupers. Where's the best place to go? And that's how you find the Goliath groupers. What do you think, Mike? Good advice?
Yeah, it's really good advice. I like that. Be a little sneaky, and this way you get the information you need to go get on them.
Social engineering, man. You got to do it.
Yeah, there you go.
One thing quick, guys, I want to remind you, we do have that free buff promotion from Fin Apparel. The link is in our description, so click that if you guys want to get a free buff. You just have to pay for shipping. And also check out these new hats right here. So glad about this new hat. Mike, what do you think about that, dude? That little fin right there?
Yeah, that's an awesome looking hat.
Yeah,
you know the BlacktipH hat you gave me? You gave me two. I gave one to my buddy. He said that's his favorite hat to wear around. Your signature BlacktipH hats. Those hats are awesome too.
Do you still have one, or
Oh yeah, I got it. I got it in my closet over there.
All right, so I'm gonna have to give you another one, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
We almost sold out of our BlacktipH hats, bro. We're I have to order a whole bunch more right now from FlexFit because we're on our last box. But guys, make sure we're going to answer some more questions. But check out Southern Fin Apparel's new hats and click the link in the description here for the free buff promotion. Mike, let's pound through some comments here. We got a lot of people asking questions. What pound line do we use for Goliath groupers? I highly recommend using 400-pound mono mainline. If you use anything less than that, it's probably going to pop. You want to use a lot of drag too, anywhere 80+ pounds of drag. All right, Mike, you get the next question.
Here's a good question. They said after the mullet run, does the fishing die down? I remember last year when we were fishing, there were sometimes we went to the beach looking for the mullet, seeing if they were there on the beach. We didn't see them. The fishing was completely dead. So it's not like the fishing's nonstop all the time, right?
So what happens is the mullet, it's funny, last year, and this happens every year, so you get these very intense moments where these giant schools of mullet come through, and then it does slow down. But what happens is the big thing about if you're going to be beach fishing between, I'd say, November, and it depends where you are in Florida, by the way. So like, you know, November till January or February, that's when you're going to find lots of big redfish, tarpon. You're going to find big jack crevalles. The mullet are still trickling down slowly, but they're not as intense. But there's other bait fish coming down too. Pinfish, cigar minnows. There's all kinds of other bait fish species that are moving through. You know, Menhaden. So you just got to find your different spots where, and that's what I've done. Like, you know, over the years, I've found, like, okay, so in this county at this time of the year, this is what's biting. You know, you got to kind of map out, like, for example, like Florida. I like to map out Florida based on the month and what's biting. You know, and you find that every location in Florida, there is no one great spot, guys. I always keep moving around. You got to find the fish. You know, like this year, I'm going to be doing some trips up to Jacksonville. I'm hoping to go up there to do some wahoo fishing. You know, every spot in Florida has its different hot times. You know, so like, for example, like somewhere, you know, Palm Beach, Stewart, Sebastian, offshore is awesome in the summertime. Sometimes in the winter, it's not as good. You know, there's some sailfish, but that's about it. So you gotta kind of find your different spots there and just look and learn your areas. That's the best advice I could get about, you know, learning how to find more fish, because there's always fish biting in the ocean. Always. You just got to find where the bait is. Wherever the bait is, that's where you're gonna find the predators.
Awesome.
All right, so let's see here. Let's see, we got these comments are flying in here. What setup to use for shore fishing tarpon? All right, guys. So I use the same setups that I use for blacktips. You know, tarpon get bigger than blacktips. They can get up to 300 pounds. So you want a minimum of 400 yards of line. I use a surf rod. You can use anywhere between a 9 to 13 foot rod, depending on if you want to throw cut bait or live bait. And big reels, guys. Lots of line. You know, you don't need a lot of drag though. You don't want to put too much drag on tarpon because they usually will split the hooks. So, you know, line capacity for tarpon from the beach is more important than actually drag. And if you hook a big tarpon, you're gonna probably need close to 500 yards of line. So you know, and you don't need, like I said, you're not using a lot of drag, so you can back down your line strength. So you can use either 30 to 50 pound braid, and you can get a lot more line on your reel.
Yeah, I saw a really good question. You know, I haven't watched every single video on your channel, but this question came in. Will you ever do a fly fishing video? Have you done that before, or are you planning to do
I tried it, man. You know what, dude? You know how me and you are kind of the same, man. We just want to catch fish. You know, fly fishing makes things more challenging. Down the road, I want to do it, but right now, you know, I tried fly fishing for bonitas, and you know, it was okay, but dude, I'd rather just jig or throw a popper at them and just keep catching them. You know, it's too slow for me right now. Maybe in 5 years, I don't know.
Sure.
I'm not a huge fan of it right now. I just, I love the concept. I love the idea. I love the challenge. But at the same time, I want to catch fish. I want to make. And sometimes fly fishing will outfish guys with spinning gear. But most of the time, if you're fishing from the beach or you're fishing from, like, fish that are like bonitas and kingfish, you're probably gonna do better with a spinning rod or conventional rod than you are with a fly rod.
True. Very true.
Everyone's asking us to dab, so Mike, I'm gonna let you dab. You want to dab, or is this dabbing thing? Is this old?
All right, we'll do the dab just to keep you guys happy. You ready for the dab? Boom.
Whoa.
Dab right there.
That's a nice dab right there, Mike. Man, you must be practicing all the time, hey?
Oh, dude, I practice at least 10 times a day. 5 in the morning, 5 in the evening, right before bedtime.
Personal best bass. Okay, guys, my personal best bass is I'd say around. I didn't weigh it, but I'd say between 6.5 and 7 pounds smallmouth bass. Mike, what's yours?
And that was when you lived in Canada. What area? Canada. Gotcha.
I caught that fish in Perry Sound in Georgian Bay. And
my biggest largemouth bass is just over 7.5 pounds. Caught it from Alabama earlier this year.
Is that a bam bass?
Yep, you got it. That was a great collaboration too.
So you did all those trips to Mexico and Gary Gamo's ranch, and you still haven't caught a bigger bass and at all those secret spots?
Yeah, Mexico, we did catch. That was a tough time of the year to fish. It was really hot. The one dude did pull up a giant, and then me and Rob caught some big fish, but no 10-pounders or anything. And yeah, hopefully, right now it's getting a little cooler in Florida. Who knows, next week we might be able to run into that monster bass I've been dreaming about.
So you're going to come back down again in December, and we're going to hit those big bass, right?
Exactly.
We gotta hit it. I mean, guys, we're on a mission. Me and Mike, we're gonna do the bass challenge. Actually, Mike, let's talk about our bass challenge. We've done some competition between both of us, and you still gotta beat me, man.
Dude, I'm feeling pretty good. I've been had a couple competitions with the other YouTubers. I'm so far I've been on top for most of them. So next week you better look out, man. I'm coming after you.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man. You and Justin have beaten you. I beat Rob too, actually. With Hector. I'm still undefeated, man, in our bass challenges.
Hey, it's the first time for everything.
Hey, listen, man, I'm a humble guy, bro. I want you to beat me, but I want you to beat me with your 10-pound bass, 10-pound plus. That's the only way I want you to beat. I don't want you to beat me with 7-pound bass. It's got to be a PB bass.
PB, I like it.
So someone just asked, what's my personal best saltwater fish? So in terms of weight, it was a 13-foot 4-inch tiger shark I caught in the Bahamas. It was between 800 and 1,000 pounds. In terms of length, sawfish that we caught a couple months ago, it was gigantic. It was over 17 feet long. It's gonna be hard to beat that. The only fish that I can catch that will beat that maybe is a great white, maybe. But catching a 17-foot great white is super rare. Yeah. So, but if I caught a 17-foot great white, that thing would weigh like 7,000 pounds. I don't think you'd be able to get that thing in. You need a freaking winch.
Yeah, that'd be a world record for sure.
People keep asking us all the time for shout-outs, Mike. So what do we need to do here? Do we need to like build an app where people can just post like their name, like kind of like a Tumblr, YouTube shout-outs, so like everyone can just shout out themselves, and people can just go there and look at shout-outs?
I think that would get very oversaturated. There's got to be maybe on giveaways or something, or some kind of you gotta make it special so that it's only a couple people that get shout out. If you shout out everyone, then it's not really a shout out. It's gonna do no good.
I like the way Screen Junkies does shout-outs. Have you ever seen the way they do it?
No, I haven't seen it.
So they have their voiceover guy, and they ask for comments in the comment section, and they ask them to tell him to say something. So say like BlacktipH or 1Rod1ReelFishing or whatever. So and then he'll pick a comment they'll pick the comments they like, and they'll say it at the end of the video. So maybe we can start something like that, where we do like a weekly shout out kind of deal where we do comments. I mean, maybe we pick some comments. What do you think?
I kind of do a little shout out at the end of my videos. I put whichever comment had the most likes, I do a shout out for that comment at the end of my video. That's kind of something that worked well for me. But what you said is a pretty interesting idea too.
Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking that but how do we do it though? Do we do it from the previous video, and then we pick it? We could do something like that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So me and Mike are going to finalize this new plan next week. So start commenting on our videos, start engaging with our comments, and we're going to start getting you guys some more shoutouts because you guys keep asking us. I get so many questions about shoutouts. I'm sure you do too, Mike.
Yeah, they're pretty common.
So let's answer a few more questions here, and then we're going to sign off. Let's see what we got here. Mike, I'm going to let you pick the next one.
All right, let's pick one more question each. For my question, it's going to be It's going to be the best.
Not that one, bro.
I'm not going to pick that one. Maybe on my channel. Maybe. Probably not though.
Jeez.
The best lure to fish off the beach. So I'm not that experienced of a saltwater fisherman. I'll let you answer that question. Is there, I guess it depends on the species or the mullet run in general, if you want to catch.
So my favorite lures for the beach, guys, is to have a topwater lure, a spoon, and a jig. You know, you want to cover the entire water column, and you know, whether that jig can be a soft plastic on a jig or whatever, or it could be you know, whatever, anything, a bucktail. The spoon I like to use, you know, 2 to 3 ounce spoon, and then my topwater. I'll tell you what, my favorite lure, my favorite lures right now to throw from the beach is the GT Ice Cream and the Roberts Lures Rangers. You know, the GT Ice Creams are really, really nice. We're actually working with them right now. We're gonna make our own. We're trying to make our own BlacktipH version of their lure. So it's a pretty cool lure. It's very, it's made for, you know, it's designed in South Africa for catching GTs and other big fish. So very, very strong lure. And there's nothing like seeing the topwater explosions. That's my favorite fishing with artificial is topwater. What about you?
Dude, nothing can beat a big topwater explosion. And bass, you know, I get excited for that. And then seeing a saltwater gigantic monster fish explode on top water, that's a whole nother beast entirely. It's absolutely incredible.
Someone's asked Senkos for sharks. You know what, guys? I have some plans coming up here. We're gonna experiment with some bass tackle and some bass lures and see if we can get the black tips to you. I don't know. They're pretty smart. They're not stupid, so they may not hit it. All right, so I'll pick a question here, and then we're gonna sign off, Mike, with talking about our schedule for next week. Let's see here. Are you into fly fishing show? We've already answered that kind of. All right, guys. Last question here, man. So start asking away. Oh,
last question. All right, here's a good last question for you, Josh. You ready?
What'd you see? Yeah. What'd you got?
What was your most dangerous fishing experience?
Ooh, I've had a lot of them.
I know you have.
So I'll list the ones that come to mind. I almost died. I almost got hit by lightning. I was on the beach fishing, and all of a sudden, every single hair on my body stood straight up. And yeah, that was really scary. So guys, never fish in lightning. Forget lightning. When I got pulled in on the harness with in that one video on my channel, that's pretty dangerous. I don't want that to happen again. The rod hitting me in the face and splitting my chin open, that was pretty dangerous. So that would have hit right here. I probably would have bled out. Yeah, and I've had sinkers fly at me, and dude, oh my gosh, this one time when I first started surf fishing, I had a big 8-ounce pyramid sinker fly back and hit me in the knee. And it hit me at the big side, thank God. If it hit me on the pointy side, I would have, I don't know, bro. I would have had a messed up leg for life. I've been bit by sharks twice. Yeah, the list keeps going on. I can't pick one. Those are all bad.
Those are all bad. Yeah.
How about you, Mike? What's your worst fishing experience?
I've never even had anything really bad happen. If I had to pick one, I would say. No, I'd have to think about it. I've never been hooked past a barb. I don't fish saltwater very much, so I don't have any really bad, saltwater experiences. I fish for bass. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen when you're bass fishing?
A lure flies back, hits you in the eye, and you lose your eye?
That's true, yeah. That's actually never happened. Well, I was fishing with my buddy yesterday. He's a complete novice fisherman. I gave him a big swim bait to use. He asked to use it, and he set the hook on it, and that lure came flying back on me, and it almost hooked me pretty good. I'll actually have that in my video coming up later tonight. For those of you that have subbed to me, you can go check that out later. That'll be my plug for the day.
Wait, did the lure hit you?
It hit my clothing. Thankfully, it didn't hit me, though.
Oh.
No, it was close. It was close.
So, guys, the schedule next week, me and Mike, we're going to be fishing Monday afternoon. We're going to be fishing the beach. I'm just pulling up the schedule right now. Let's see a look here. We were going to do redfish and snook on Tuesday, but I think we're going to switch that over and try to do some sharks and snook. We're not going to go north, look for redfish. And the bite hasn't been that good north, where the redfish usually are in Sebastian and Cocoa and further north up there, Ponce Inlet. There hasn't been a good mullet run up there, so we're not going to go there. Wednesday, the 12th, we're going to do some serious bass fishing. We're hunting that double-digit bass for Mike. That's the goal, and we're going to have our bass contest. You guys tell us right now in the comments who do you think is going to win the bass contest. Mike's 0 for 2, so hey, Mike, I hope you beat me with your PB, bro. That's the way I want you to beat me. And then on Thursday, we're gonna fish from the beach. We're gonna do tarpon, sharks, jacks, whatever. One thing I really want to do, Mike, we're going to be carrying multiple rods with us. I want to have rods with top water lures ready to go. So if those jacks come out, we can throw plugs at them and we can get some monster crevalles. Nothing. I think if we get a video of us doubled up with 20, 30-pound jacks, I think that'd be epic.
That would be epic. The biggest one I caught was probably maybe 6 or 7. If I catch one double digits, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think that'd be. I think you lose your mind. And dude, we could have multiple double headers. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Mike, thanks for your time. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Guys, just if you live in Florida, please don't take this hurricane seriously. You know, stay up to date with it. Don't take it lightly, and also don't go fishing if the winds are real bad. I mean, trust me, I would be out there if I could. But if there's a storm surge and it's 100-mile-an-hour winds, not a good idea to be out there at all. And the other thing is, you know, with the hurricane, guys, make sure you take every step necessary, follow, you know, with the hurricane guidelines, make sure you get everything ready. Because, I mean, if it hits us good, probably not going to have power. Mike, we may not even have electricity when you come down. It might be like that.
Either way, it's going to be one heck of a trip.
No matter
what happens.
I mean, dude, if there are oil tankers on the beach, like, we're still fishing, bro. Okay.
Well, I like to hear.
Nothing's gonna stop us from fishing. We're gonna be animals out there, you know. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for next week when me and Mike do some serious fishing.
See you guys later.